Welcome to another episode of Tech It Up with Cafe Cultura. It's your girl, Jaylah, and I'm here, like always, bringing you the newest founders and some of really cool products that we want to share with you guys as our world keeps growing. And I am here with Jana. Hello, darling.
Hi, Jayla. Thank you for having me
Did
on.
I say that correctly?
Jana.
Jenna. There we go. See,
Wait,
I,
you got
I,
that so fast. People always make me go back and forth a bunch of times.
I got it. I picked it up quick. I'm trying not to butcher names as much as I should. Thank you so much for being here. You are founder of ActRight. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and ActRight?
Okay, hi. So my name is Jana. I'm currently a senior at Stanford University and a rising co-term student. So I'm gonna stay for another 2 years to get my master's here. Um, and I started founding ActRight because of doing some work in corporate in terms of like sustainability and always facing this issue of like these institutions setting goals. And what it really comes down to is not so much infrastructure change as much as it is like individual behavior. And we try to convince people to do the right things, hence the name ActRight. But people don't always want to do it. People aren't really always like passionate about sustainability, or they're not really aware of their own individual impact. So I decided to maybe found something that can help companies like show individuals what their own individual impact can be and have a system of rewarding them and making them feel good and motivating them to take those actions that can help us reach our sustainability goals.
That's amazing because you have a lot of people that they're always like be about it, right? Don't talk about it, be about it. And you are about it. Where did your passion for sustainability and meeting it with tech, how did this become?
So I think like Gen Z, like from when we were very young, the topic of climate change was really drilled into us. And I think that's even more true for Gen Alpha and the new coming generations. Like we are very aware of how dangerous it is to be in a world that's like being affected by climate change, and like concepts of like reuse, reduce, recycle. Like that's been drilled into us
Yeah.
from kindergarten. And yet like growing up, like just like looking around me, I don't really see that. Like I don't really see people actually taking the action that is being told. So that's kind of like where that like confusion came from within me. Like we all know like, but why aren't we all doing what we talk about? Like why do people care about sustainability on Earth Day but not on the other 364 days on
Right.
Earth? And so that's kind of where this like question started popping up in my head. And then here at Stanford, I did my major in international relations with a focus on sustainability. So I got to look at it in both ways, more so in like ecosystems and how they're directly affected by climate change, down to like very tiny like micro beings, and all the way up to like institutions and governments and how they're dealing with like sustainability and how like different like actors, what drives them to take action. And like the sad truth is that for a lot of companies it is about profit. Like there is a
Yeah.
lot of like greenwashing, there is a lot of like we just want to make money, we want to be able to reach these like B Corp goals so that we can like have tax reductions. Like that is what actually motivates companies. And when it comes to individuals, it's not that much different. It's like people want their own personal recognition, people want to like gain something
Right.
out of sustainability. Just relying on people's like goodwill intentions and just relying on people like caring about the matter with no kind of reward or incentive is honestly not that effective, because a lot of people don't care. And that is the sad truth. A lot of people don't really see it as something worth taking action for. And when it comes to something so dire and so serious as saving our planet, I think the right thing to do, or the best thing for us to do, is to actually play on that human factor, like play on that, like how humans think and what
Yeah.
would make humans take action, and like just work with that system instead of like working against it and just trying to convince people. People know. but you need to make people want to take the actions that you want them to take.
Do you find it harder? Because I know we brought up the generation Alpha and Gen Z. Um, do you find it that it's because it's been drilled in, it's easier for those generations to adapt to sustainability? Or do you see, the millennials, the boomers, and everybody else kind of adapting as easy?
Um, I think it really depends on like cultural context, and also depends on like what kind of influence individuals receive, especially like younger kids. Like they're very much influenced by media. They're very much influenced about by like what's on the internet, which is why like I think a game and an app and things like scoreboards and things like comparing with your friends and things like putting something on a trend would be more effective with that generation. I think with millennials, I have definitely like perceived a sort of like cultural shift. And I think like especially like Gen X and millennials have this like special ability of like if we could get them on board and they can influence their children. Like children at the end of the day, as much as they want to influence their parents and their families, their capabilities are a lot smaller than that of a parent that can influence what their kids end up doing. So I think this like intergenerational conversation is like really important to implement things like climate change. And when it comes to like boomers, I think it's honestly like the hardest generation to get to. Like I've had like problems like trying to convince like people in the older generation of why they should change their behaviors for like the newer generation for saving the planet, and they're like, I know more than you, this is the most like practical solution, this is the more effective thing. Like if I just use these plastics, then I won't need to wash these plates. And like,
Right.
you want to wash these plates? Like they have like a different way of like thinking that's hard to get to. But when you make things something like a reward, like everyone wants a reward. This is like
Yeah.
wired into our like human psyche. And that's kind of what I'm trying to understand in my master's in biology, and really dig into like neurobiology and like what makes people like motivated, what makes people feel good, and how we can like gear human action. But it really comes down to like, what is the benefit, what is the most effective solution, what is the most practical thing, what is the easiest thing. So if we can make sustainability something easy, and if we can make the person perceiving a reward like feeling good, having their like action accounted for, it's in the book somewhere, I'm going to benefit from this, then that would incentivize people to take action more across generations.
Do you see this? Does this make it more difficult for you as a founder? Because people that are sitting in higher chairs, where the money and the checks get signed, venture capitalists, and even though we're seeing a lot of diversity now, but for the most part, you could expect that from the boomer generation. How hard has that been for you as a founder working in sustainability?
So I personally have not like ventured too far into the VC world, but I have had some conversations. And honestly, a lot of like chairs and like big people, they really see the value of like sustainability, and
Okay.
they really see the value of like tech being incorporated into the corporate world. So I think this like project, as it incorporates both tech and sustainability, it's actually like at a very good position in terms of like pitching it to like companies, because like companies want these things. Like when it comes to the company, it is now like the most beneficial thing and the smartest thing for you as a company to do is to go green, and to do so in a way that is like cost effective. Something like tech, like you buy something, you incorporate this into this platform is going to do it all for you. So it's like a cost effective solution. That's what makes it like appealing. And it is also like a solution that will actually get you to the goals that you are setting, and that you are putting all this effort. Like working in corporate like involves so many phone calls, so many conversations, so many trainings, so many getting people and sitting down and being like, please do this, this is so easy, please do this, it's such a small action, why haven't you done this? All of that work through all of these people that are trying to just convince all these different actors to take simple actions can be done through just like a platform, can be done through like a
I
click
love
of a
it.
button. So it's like
So
so
t-
easy.
tell us a little bit more about ActRight and how it plays that role in creating a big footprint.
So ActRight is a behavioral tracker. And we're really still in like the ideation phase. And I think that's perfect because it's sort of the kind of platform that can be really tweaked in terms of like the company or the university or like the customer. So it's basically a platform where you can set these are the kind of behaviors that I want my people in my company to start doing. Like for example, here at Stanford, I've taken classes that focus on like Stanford as a sustainability laboratory, as they call it. And one of the problems that we have here is that like we have such an easy like walking system through campus. We have such an easy biking system through campus. Yet people are always like driving their cars to class. People drive their car to class even though it's like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
What this can do is that it can reward students that are like walking using like you know how your phone tracks your steps.
Yep.
The mechanisms they're already there. How many steps do you take on campus? Not in place on a treadmill, but just in motion. Those that can get you points. How
Oh,
many
that's so
times do you
cool.
get on the bus? Every time you get on the bus, that can get you points. And the more points you get, the more benefits that you can have. And it doesn't work as just like, oh, you do one thing, then you get your benefit right away. No, this is something that you have to compete with your peers. You have to go on a scoreboard, and we're going to see who's the top earners, who's the one that's been contributing the most positively to this behavior that we're trying to set. Then those people are the people that are going to get rewarded. And so it's
I could totally see this in schools. So I'm a mom. I have a 9-year-old, and I could totally see this being like part of their project, like, just walking here to there or taking this, and which in return, I guess, encourages the parent too, because the kids are doing it. So, nowadays we got to be on top of everything they do. So then you kind of start being more aware yourself. Because I know my daughter puts me like, mommy, no plastic straws, but I don't like the paper ones, so I'm going to use the bamboo ones, and then she comes up with all these different types of straws, and I'm like, I thought it was just one straw, and she's like, no. Obviously, I know there's different types of straws, but but yeah, this I get what you're saying with the whole competition putting with your peers, kind of, and definitely seeing it working. Do you have a target demographic for this? Is that something that or do you want it to run across the board, or are you kind of targeting one certain group to start and then letting it spread?
So I think this project has the capacity of actually being applicable in like different in a variety of contexts. I think my first target is universities. Have you ever tried playing the games on LinkedIn? Every day on LinkedIn you can play like a puzzle.
Oh,
And
I
when you
didn't know
play that
that.
puzzle, you get like a score. And depending on like how fast or like how well other students in your university score, your university gets ranked
Wow.
and like compared to other universities. So I think if we do something like this on the university scale and get other universities to buy in, then we can have something like that. Like we can see like I think Georgia Tech is like number one on LinkedIn puzzles last time I checked yesterday, and Stanford was on one of the puzzles like number seven. That motivated me as a student to be like, I want to do this puzzle faster tomorrow, just because like even though I'm not individually being recorded or like I'm not individually being rewarded, but I'm part of Stanford, so Stanford is me, and Stanford is being like
Yep.
compared on this ranking. So I want to take part of this like simple game. I've never played it before. Yesterday was my first time. And today I want to go back just so I can like see this like game. It's part of like our human psyche. It's part of how we think, where we want to do better. Like we want to play in this competition. We want to take part in this like sort of game, even if I lose. It's like this ability to like go back and check where I stand. It's just satisfying.
No, you're so right though. It's once you hear, it's like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, the curiosity killed the cat, right? So you go and you become curious, and all of a sudden there you are, knee deep in puzzles. I love it. How can like you said, ActRight right now is in its testing phase, I believe you said.
It's more in the ideation phase. I'm
There
like
you go.
working with like different teams to like figure out how we can like best like create the platform and how what tools are actually like most effective. We've had a lot of different ideas bounce around and like what behaviors should be incorporated in our like first launching stage. I'm currently like gonna do like a peer review in about like 2 weeks where we look at like different concepts, and some of the things that we were thinking about is if we can maybe like on a small scale add scanners to um, trash bins, for example. And then what you can do is that like this scanner is like using an AI can like detect if like what you put into the bin or like before you put
Very
it in,
cool.
when you pass it by the scanner, it could tell you, oh, if this is appropriate for like trash, for landfill, or for recycling. And so like if you put the right thing, then you can get points for like putting in the right thing in the right bin, for example. That's one of the things that we're looking at. Another thing that we're looking at is like if we can collaborate with like coffee shops and like restaurants that we have on campus, and every time you go in, if you bring your own cup, then they allow you to scan a QR code and you can get points for bringing your own cup, which obviously would have more points than just like a step on the road. So
Right.
we're in that phase of like measuring what kind of behaviors do we need in our first launch, which I'm really hoping to try to implement this at Stanford, but I'm really open to like other institutions, to companies um, that would be willing to let us prototype this on their community. But right now we're in the phase of like seeing what kinds of behaviors are like, are we looking to change the most like within our own community here at Stanford, and what kind of mechanisms are like the best for like tracking these behaviors and for like counting what gets what amount of rewards and things like that.
I love it. What's the best way to get in contact with you, if for any type of support?
I think LinkedIn is honestly my best mode of contact. I'm always like on top of messages when it comes to there, and I'm always happy to connect and like learn from and hear from new people. I'm also available to be reached by my email, so I can plug that in as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Jenna, for, well, any last minute thoughts, any last minute words that you have for people that love sustainability or are on the fence for sustainability. Um, any final thoughts?
I think my final thought is like not just for people in sustainability, but for like anyone in general that sees a problem and is like deeply like troubled by its existence. Try to come up with a solution. Try to actually like get to the root of the problem and like answer it. That's what we're here for, to try to help each other and try to make our world a better place. So when you see an illness, try to find a cure.
I love that. That is, it seems like so broad, but it's so simple when you think about it, right? And I feel like if so many of us stuck to those ideas rather than we need to work 9 to 5 and, you know, do A, B, C, D, E, uh, the world will be a better place. But I feel like this future generation definitely they have it. It's there. It's the ideas are there for sure. Thank you so much, Jenna, for being with us. I have put your LinkedIn information there, and I cannot wait to hear what is going to be happening with ActRight in the next couple months. And I can't wait to have you back on once you've done launching and everything, and hear your journey more.
Thank you so much for having me, Jayla. This has been such a lovely conversation, and I'm really excited to come back on here and talk with you again. It's been really great.
Whenever you want to chat, I'm only an email away. Guys, that was another episode of Tech It Up with Cafe Cultura. It's your girl Jayla. Catch you next time.